Let's continue our study of the 4 native magnolias to the Appalachian Mountains, lower Great Lakes, and parts of the Ohio Valley. And I've got 3 of them in the winter stage already: the Fraser Magnolia, the Bigleaf Magnolia, and the Umbrella Magnolia. And I'm at a park where I found both Bigleaf and Umbrella Magnolia back in March of 2020. Well, it's 3 months later, and let's take a look at this Umbrella Magnolia in full foliage. This is on the banks of the Martin's Fork in the Daniel Boone National Forest on Trail 221, which is the rough trail. And we've got the foliage of the Umbrella Magnolia, and it's living up to its name. It looks like an umbrella with all the leaves sticking out from the central growing point there. That growing point in the wintertime has like a frog green or a medium green color. It's kind of shiny. And the other bigger leaf magnolia in this particular park has a bud that is fuzzy and much lighter in color. And I have a recording of that called Bigleaf and Umbrella Magnolia's Winter Appearance. But even though this is not called Bigleaf Magnolia, folks, these leaves are huge. They're 12 to 24 inches long, and they create umbrellas all the way up. So these trees make up for, in the summertime, what they lack in the winter. In the winter, they're kind of plain and stubby looking. But once they're fully leafed out, they're incredible to look at as you hike through these valleys. This Umbrella Magnolia I'm finding more in these stream valleys. And the Bigleaf I'm finding more on the upper slopes of this particular park. So these leaves, again, are 12 to 24 inches long, sometimes even longer. And at the base of each leaf, it comes into the bud, or the central growing point, without what's called an earlobe. And the Bigleaf Magnolia has earlobes where it comes out of the growing point. So that's how you can tell them apart if there's any doubt, because they both have very large leaves. And I'm going to stitch a Bigleaf Magnolia foliage clip onto this one in just a few minutes. And let's continue our study of the Bigleaf and Umbrella Magnolia foliage. I have found a sapling of a Bigleaf Magnolia right here along the Daniel Boone Hut Trail, close to where I found the umbrella foliage a few minutes ago. Just the Trail 221 splits off from the Daniel Boone Hut Trail here, but most of these plants can be found on all the trails in this Red River Gorge geological area, part of the Daniel Boone National Forest. So you can find these plants in a lot of places. What I have here is the Bigleaf Magnolia. And honestly, this leaf is actually smaller than the Umbrella Magnolia. I just put that Umbrella Magnolia on top of it, so it's actually longer in this case. But if you look at the Umbrella Magnolia here, it is kind of at the same shape. It gets wide and gets narrow and looks the same at both ends, without the earlobes at the base. This Bigleaf Magnolia is definitely wider at one end than at the other. It gets wider as it grows out. And it has these earlobes where it comes into the stem there, these little earlobes here. So that's how you can tell the Bigleaf from the Umbrella Magnolia. Now, the Fraser Magnolia also has earlobes, but it has smaller leaves than the Bigleaf and the Umbrella Magnolias. And according to the ranger maps, it's not found in this part of Kentucky. I have found it up on Pine Mountain, 100 miles east of here. If I find it here today, it would be unexpected. But we'll see what comes along. I'm also starting to see some cucumber magnolia in here, and I'm going to be working on that in the future. So be on the lookout for that as the summer goes on. But we got our little earlobes down here. They're only maybe a ½ inch to an inch wide. But these big leaves get bigger than this. This is just a sapling. I'm going to be on the lookout for more big leaf leaves and bigger than this one. Let's see if we can find one that's 2 or 3 feet long, because they can get that big. And we'll stitch that video onto this one in just a few minutes. And I am standing under a very large Bigleaf Magnolia here. Large enough, I wonder if I should not have it in the understory plants and trees category. Usually it's shorter than the surrounding trees, but some of these here are reaching as high up as the surrounding trees. So it can be understory and full grown. But incredibly large leaves. I've got a sapling coming out of the stump of one of these, or the trunk of it. The tree is still alive. And this tree is probably 70, 80 feet high. But the sapling has some real large leaves here with the earlobes where it comes out of the stem. So that's how we can tell it from an umbrella. Here's my average sized umbrella leaf for comparison here. I'm going to put it right on top of it. And you can see that this is much, much larger. Let's zoom out a little here. There we go. So it's a good 6-8 inches longer than an umbrella leaf. And the umbrella, again, doesn't have those earlobes that the big leaf has. The barks are fairly smooth on both trees, so bark alone without buds or leaves makes it a little tricky. But I'm just going to put my hand in here for scale. This thing is 1 hand long, 2 hands long, three adult hands long, probably 30 inches long. That is a big leaf. And a guy could probably put it over his head and stay dry on a rainy day if he plucked it off the tree and used it as an umbrella. So, incredible plants. If you love to hike in Kentucky, you'll find them in a lot of your hikes that have the older woods that haven't been cleared. And let's keep studying our big leaf magnolia. I'm at the base of a cliff here on the D Boone Hut Trail in the Daniel Boone National Forest in Powell County, Kentucky. And just look at the size of these leaves, folks. It's hard to, the video doesn't do it justice, but most of these leaves are at least 2 feet long, and they come off in a whirl like an umbrella magnolia. And in most places they are. They don't always do it, but they usually do. But they just are incredibly large leaves on these big leaf magnolia trees. You want to get some neat photos, get underneath one of these when the sun is shining through it. And it's just an amazing plant that really gives this place a tropical feel when it's really more of a northern, a mixed hardwood forest here, but it gives you a real tropical feel at the mid-latitudes here. And these are common throughout this Red River Gorge recreation area, National Geological Area, especially on the upper parts of these slopes at the base of the cliffs and even on top of the cliffs in the soils that aren't extremely dry. It's a real good place to learn big leaf magnolia. It's June now. It's not in flower yet. With any luck, I can get back here if it's not too terribly hot in the late summer when it is in bloom. And just an amazing plant. So here's our big leaf magnolia. Looking up at just how neat it is to look at while you're out hiking. And it tends to grow in clumps. So where you get one, you get many more.